on a gentleman, Mr. Carlos Mons. I met Carlos through a coaching session. And ever since we had our coaching session, I've just admired how he's been able to really get things done. I mean, he's had a tremendous amount of success throughout his life. He wants to continue to have a tremendous amount of success being in IT, working for a major cloud provider, as well as the biggest retail company that exists out there for online transactions. I'm not going to say who it is, but you guys already know. And just, doing some wonderful things in life, being a person that stand up, a person that we can look up to, and so forth. And before we went live, he was coaching me on doing something that's very responsible. So obviously, the wife and I are done with having kids, and Carlos was like, Antoine, you need to be responsible, and you need to go ahead and take care of that situation for yourself, so you don't have to worry about any oopsies happening. So I admire Carlos. He helps me. He's a coaching client of mine, and doing some wonderful things. So I want to introduce Mr. Carlos to you all. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get him up here, and we will go from there. Carlos, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, Anton. How about yourself? Appreciate that introduction.
Absolutely, man. I cannot complain. It is a good Saturday. For all the people that don't know who Mr. Carlos is, I gave you a pretty good introduction there. Go ahead and tell people who you are, Carlos.
I'm Carlos Mons. I'm out of Gainesville, Florida right now. I am the information technology manager over a fulfillment center with Amazon. I lead a team of engineers, technicians, and equipment custodians. Prior to that, I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
No.
Prior to that,
Keep going, brother.
Prior to that, I was with the Federal Aviation Administration. I served as an automation technician. So I did that for 4 or 5 years. While serving in the Air Force Reserves as a cyber system operator. Recently just got my letter for commission in the Florida National Guard also. So that's another thing I'm proud of. I did 6 years active duty with the Navy as an avionics technician on E2C Hawkeye. Actually got qualified for in-flight tech. Did radar reconnaissance missions. Pretty young still. I just turned 32 last December. And it's just been a journey, a good journey, like just amazing journey.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. When you list all the accolades, Carlos, I'm like, God damn, I still have a lot to do in life, man.
Been busy. I've been very, very busy.
Yes, you've been busy. You've been really, really busy. So, obviously, I wanted to get you on here to kind of talk about your background and then talk about how you got into tech and so forth. I love to share stories of gentlemen like yourself who are doing some remarkable things and also looking to contribute back and show the way, right? Leaders in the community and so forth. So exactly. Talk about Carlos from the beginning. How did Carlos get into tech? How did Carlos go to school? Obviously, you mentioned Gainesville. You are a University of Florida grad. So tell us the story, man.
Okay, starting off, I was high school. Really, I've been kind of successful my whole life. Like most people I go through, you get to the teenage years, you start trying to figure out yourself, identity crisis, following the crowds and so on and so forth. But I grew up, typical kid, family of 4. I'm the youngest out of 4 boys. My mom and dad's married 4 boys. I'm the youngest. I was in gifted programs, elementary, valedictorian grade. I did my speech. State Patrol of the Year in 5th grade. I got the Presidential Award. So I've always been successful at every level of my life. The older I got, I guess I didn't really have a vision. So I wanted to make sure I had my discipline intact. So just smart, talented, just didn't know where. I was good at math, so started out engineering. My mom worked in healthcare, so she was like, well, maybe you should try, going into APK. So I was in the APK program, applied physiology, kinesiology. Wanted to be a physical therapist. Then I realized that that's probably not the best route for me.
Well, talk about that, Carlos. So why wasn't that best route for you, man?
I did not have the soft skills early in my life to be like that people person. I didn't develop that yet until I started working on it, until I started getting forced in position of like supervisor. I became a supervisor really early. So right after high school, I was in college. Things didn't work out. I had a situation. I had to go into the Navy. I went into the Navy. I excelled there. I was top five recruit out of all my divisions graduating. So they wrote an article about me in the paper. I got my first coin. I got married slowly, promoted. So I went from E2 to E3 right out of boot camp. Then I had tech school, and I was top of my class, so I got promoted to E4. So I was just kept growing and growing. So by the time it was time for me to get E5, I think I had just turned 21, or it was right before right before I turned 21. But I wasn't even able to drink, and I was night check supervisor, running the shifts for like 6 or 7 people. So at that time, I got forced in these positions. I had to be more vocal. Naturally, like a lot of people, I think in IT, we kind of seem to be more introvert. We like working to ourselves, being that guy to fix it. Everyone wants to be MacGyver, and you know what I mean. You just kind of just focus and kind of just keep. And that's how I was. I was like, I didn't want to pass things off to someone else. I'd be like, you know what, I could just fix it myself. I'll just take care of it. So I wasn't at the point where I was able to cultivate people yet. So prior to that, the APK program, I realized I was like, oh, I'm not really a people person. I just wasn't. I was just kind of just introvert. I was a popular kid. Surprisingly, I was very, very popular all of my life. I stuck to myself. I ate lunch by myself. I hung out by myself. I had like one friend, one best friend. That was just me. I was just kind of always the person. They was growing up with a lot of siblings.
Carlos, let's talk about that just a little bit, right? So obviously 4 brothers or 3 brothers, right? And you're the baby, right? So you have to, for the most part, be social, right? And I love this story because it just shows the dynamic of us as men and in this community, right? Obviously 4 brothers, valedictorian, super smart guy, but you said you were an introvert. How is that even? And you were popular. How is that even possible, Carlos?
I don't know. I had some people always gravitated to me, and I just kind of just wanted to be left alone. I really did. Like I didn't talk to people. I mean, if anyone knew me definitely in high school, they'd be like, he just stuck to himself. He just walked around. I don't know why. It's just I've always been kind of shy and just introverted.
Wow.
And it kind of just being away from home and getting out of my environment forced me to be in different realms where I had to communicate with people. Like it wasn't just like what I can do on paper. People wanted to know me. They wanted to hear me speak. Like if you're going to be in front of people, like to sway a room, like you have to be able to do that in positions of leaderships, and that's what the only path ahead of me. I couldn't see myself being like some point. You just naturally through attrition, you can't sit in those high level contributor roles. I mean, people are going to move out, and you're gonna know that organization or that department the best, and you know the ins and outs. They're going to want you to lead it, and kind of just slid into that. So with that, I started branching myself out more. I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm gonna show people who Carlos really is. Stop being so shy and introvert. You know what I mean? Start, working on myself, just self-awareness to know that I can't be this way. Just keep everything to myself. So I started just sharing who I am, sharing my ideas. And I thought a lot of people thought they were great ideas. So I guess naturally I just became a leader because when I started speaking, people were like, oh, that makes sense. But to me, it's just common things. I'll just be like, well, why not just look at this, but why not just try this? And most people be like, oh, I didn't really think of that. And I'm just like, oh, I thought everybody thought that way. So I guess I didn't see myself of being like that influential person. I just thought it was just me. And I thought everybody just thought the same way. But the more and more I kept growing and learning, most people don't.